Welcome in, everybody. It is the Mountaineers Now postgame show, the final one of the 2022 season. I'm Schuyler. Joined with me, as always, former Mountaineer running back Eugene Napoleon. And how about that, Eugene? West Virginia, you've struggled lately. Losers of 4 of their last 5 coming into this one. With a 24-19 victory over Oklahoma State, snapping a 7-game losing streak to the Cowboys. Just go and give me your initial thoughts on this one before we really dive into this and what it means for North Carolina moving forward.
Well, let me have you laughing, Schuyler. Here's the thing. We know how long it's been since we got a victory over Oklahoma State, correct?
Yeah.
Here's what's funny. Most of the fans are going to ask the question that I've been thinking about after watching Green play over the last few weeks.
Well, it took so long.
Listen, well, he plays well enough to give us a victory and give us an opportunity to get victories. Now, here's what's interesting. I'm sure the fans are going to say after this game, why didn't we start Green, let's just say 5 games ago?
Yeah.
Okay? Because as a running quarterback, right, he just opens up, gives you a totally different dimension when he's at playing QB position for us. So that's one thing. I love the way the defense played today. You send the seniors out the way you're supposed to. We go into a hostile environment, Stillwater, Oklahoma, and get a victory. I'm totally stoked with the way we played and the way we finished the season. Am I happy that we're not going bowling? No, I'm not happy we're not going bowling. But at the end of the day, you win the game, end the season on a good note, hopefully going to recruiting, and that's a positive thing.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stats before we get deeper into this one. Garrett Green, you mentioned him. He did not finish the game. He left the game with it looked like a concussion. Not exactly sure on that. We're waiting to get an update. He finished 8 of 14 for 48 yards and interception. He had a 47-yard touchdown run. How about the day from Jalen Anderson, redshirt freshman running back, bust loose for a 54-yard touchdown and a 57-yard touchdown on back-to-back drives, goes for $155 and 2 scores. Lee Kova, active as all get out on the defensive side, 13 tackles, 2 TFLs and a sack. On the Oklahoma State side, Ollie Gordon, 17 plays, 136 yards and 2 scores. And Garrett Rangel, the true freshman, had a bit of a rough day, finding some confusion, 18 and 32. So, I want to go back to the first half because right after Garrett Green scored that touchdown, for whatever reason, Neil Brown decided to put in true freshman Nico Markiel. Now, I understand this is a game where you want to get Markiel some opportunities. And that may have been the game plan heading in. They may have said, you know what, Nico, you're going to get the third drive of the game, regardless of what happens. But at that point, I felt like they should have ditched that game plan and just kept going with Garrett Green because that kind of disrupted some of the momentum that they had offensively. They had a 3-and-out, a 3-and-out, another punt that was a 5-play series, and then an interception. And it took a while for West Virginia to regain that momentum offensively. What did you think about that whole situation?
No, I absolutely agree with you. I'm not sure, and maybe Coach Brown did tell him he's going to go in a certain part of the game, third, fourth series, or whatever. I've seen that situation happen before in many other places, and I respect the fact that when a coach tells the player, we're going to put you in this series, I think Markel would have understood if it didn't happen, as Coach said. That was a real critical part of the game. I'm not sure if I would have put him in at that particular point because it broke the momentum a little bit. It took us a while to get back to that. And that could have been costly for us.
It could have,
So again, there's one of them things, man, where it comes down to coaching. But look, I'm glad it paid off. At the end of the day, Markel came in, in backup duty, because of the injured Green. I'm just glad we got the wins, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, they found that momentum with the running game. As a team, I think they rushed for well over 200 yards, 250 actually, and that's been a theme in this season at least. Is when they rush for over 200 yards, they typically win games.
Right.
Anderson, like I said, hasn't been much of an important piece of this running game because of the depth they have at the position with Tony Mathis, C.J. Donaldson, Justin Johnson. But he finally gets his chance, goes for 155 yards. And I'll tell you what, I don't know. There may be some guys that enter the portal next week or in the offseason. But as long as 2 or 3 of those guys come back, I think West Virginia's going to be in pretty good shape in terms of that running game.
Let me tell you something. I think we will be. And here's the thing. I've always said this. I was talking to my son about this last week. Listen, this is the new NFL free agency when it comes to college sports. This freaking transfer portal is a beast. But like I said, it giveth and it taketh away at the same exact time. So if you really want to be in Morgantown, those who want to be here, they have a good nucleus to build around. They really do. You got some young players that are showing themselves, especially a game like today, where you really went down there and you play, like I said, a tough environment and you get the victory. If those kids come back and they believe in what's going on and what we're building at WVU, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to nutrition. At the end of the day, if you want to be someplace, it doesn't matter win, lose, or draw. You're there fulfilling your commitment, being loyal to the program, your other brothers as teammates and your staff. Point blank, period. So I'm old school with it. You know me. If you don't want to be there, then transfer. Right. But if you're going to be there, put on the old gold and blue and let's win some football games. Before, let me show you where I'm at. I'm actually, hey, you know where I'm at. I'm in AC with the missus and with our family members. We're at this really nice place. I'm in a VIP spot. So I'm actually doing this interview from there. So if you hear the noise, that's where I'm at.
But I'm sure we had a couple of, maybe a couple of cheers and stuff going on throughout the game from your section too. So
you better believe it.
But how about the game that Malachi Ruffin had at the end? The defensive back, he had an absolute mind blunder earlier in the game where he started celebrating an incompletion and ended up being a 42-yard catch. And then he comes back at the end of the game. They test him twice on back-to-back plays, and he ends up coming up with two crucial PBUs. How about him stepping up when it mattered most and putting that play from earlier in the game behind him?
And this is what I'm talking about. You have to have a short memory or no memory at all, especially when you're playing receiver or DB. That's just what it is, right? And he played the second half for him was as good as you can possibly play, given the circumstances.
Yeah.
Big crucial mistake earlier, like you said, but he came back, forgot everything else, and just played. And I'm telling you, if we can do that next season, it's going to be interesting for West Virginia. I'm telling you, they got a lot of talented players, but you know what it is, Schuyler? You have to give them reps. They have to play.
Right.
You have to give them reps, and you have to let them play through their mistakes. And that's what happened today. And I'm really happy and proud for him because he played big when we needed it, when it counted.
Yeah, it was a little shocking that Oklahoma State on that final drive, they took two deep shots down the field before they even started to try and methodically work their way down. You would have thought they would have done that instead, but whatever it was, they found a way to get a stop. Gene, before we go, I do want to get a quick thought on this because we'll go deep into this next week on our season recap. But does this win, you think, alter or change at all the chances of Joe Brown remaining as the head coach at West Virginia?
Can I be completely honest with you?
Yes.
If it were me, and I'm the new AD coming in, whoever that may be, I'm going to at least look at this game and say, okay, they played for him.
Yeah.
He didn't lose the locker room. They actually played for him. So with that being said, I would bring him back, give him 1 year. I would give him 1 year. I think this win gives him that. That's just me personally. Bring that man back, give him 1 year. Now, with the understanding, if you don't get it done in this 1 year, we already know.
Yeah.
All right. We'll help pull a moving van up to your house, and that'll be that.
Yeah. He is already on a short leash, and you got to think too, if the athletic director is not hired in a certain amount of time, it's going to be holding at least come in here and get it.
That's all right.
We'll dive more into that next week. Recapping West Virginia season again. West Virginia beating Oklahoma State 19. They finished 5-7 in Big 12 play. So that's going to do it for us. For Eugene, I'm Schuyler Callihan. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Mountaineers Now and follow us on Twitter at Mountaineers Now. So don't forget, again, season week next week. Until then, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.